Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm an Airman Flight instructor.
Hi, I'm Surya. I'm a recent commercial pilot license graduate from Airman. I'm from India and I'd like to share my experience about how it is to train with Airman Flight Training.
When did you start flight training?
I started my training in September 1st, 2022, and it was a wonderful time to start because the weather was just perfect.
How was your solo experience?
Getting a solo is an important part of training. Well, after I got my solo, it was so liberating because I could fly alone and I could fly confidently. It boosted my confidence and my experience. Also, it made sure that I'm ready for the next stages of the training.
How was your flight training experience?
My flight training experience with Airman has been really great, more than what I asked for actually, because as soon as I started training, it all went really smooth. I was able to perform well in the training and I had really a good time, and it was so much fun flying around, getting to see places from up in the sky, as well as learning every now and then and going through the training.
How were the instructors and their availability?
Well, the instructors in Airmen are highly trained, skilled and talented. They made sure that the students are up to the speed and go through the training really well and smooth. They were always available for us whenever we needed something, any small doubts or any parts of training where we were not able to pick it up. They were ready to teach us again and again. They never gave up on the students, and they always made sure the skill level and the standards are met by the students.
Hi everyone, my name is Bosco Chowdhury. I'm the lead instructor for Airman Flight Training. I oversee the international students, and I'm also one of the lead instructors for Surya. I was very involved with his training as well. I have over 1,300 hours, and 99% of my students passed their check rides first try. All right, Surya, so congrats once again for becoming a commercial pilot. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions. So how are the availability of the planes in Airman?
Thank you so much for that. It's been a pleasure training with Airmen and flying the planes at Airmen. As long as the airplane availability goes, in my experience, I've never had any shortage of airplanes, or I never had to wait for airplanes to fly or to train. And given that multiple choices of fleet that we have, the classic cockpits and the advanced avionics, it has been a pleasure flying around. And I would say that airplanes were available at any time that I prefer to fly.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now let's talk about the maintenance. That's pretty important, right? So tell me more about Airman's maintenance as far as their planes are concerned.
Yeah, as you can see right now, we are in the maintenance hangar, and as far as the maintenance goes, we do the maintenance diligently at Airman. And maintenance people here, they don't really see day or night. As soon as the plane goes down, or as soon as we require, even if it's an expedited nature, they get to the planes, work on it and get it back up in the air as soon as they can. So the maintenance is one of the most crucial parts of any flight school, I would say, because if the airplanes are not well maintained, we'll not be able to continue training, or there'll be a blockage in training. And also, since we are flying every day, all the students are flying, like piling up hours on the airplanes, it really needs to be well maintained and looked into really well.
Alrighty, so now I obviously want them to tell them the benefits about choosing a school in California, right? Obviously. So there's a lot of benefits, but let's start off with the one obvious thing, which is the weather. Why don't you tell them more about the weather in California?
That's a great question, because LA airspace is one of the best airspaces to train in, basically because it's really congested. Given that, the weather also plays an important role, because weather is in no one's control, because it's a natural phenomenon. One thing here, the best thing is that we get to fly at least 300 days a year, I would say, based on my experience. And a couple of months here and there, it might be bad, but most of the times it's sunny, blue skies, and a really good time to fly in California.
And I understand one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of flight schools and the students is that students don't get as much chance to fly because of the ratio between the planes and the students. So what about you? What was the availability like for you as far as planes were concerned?
Good that you brought up about the scheduling availability at Airman, because it was really wonderful having schedules whenever I needed. And it wouldn't have been possible for me to complete the licensing, commercial pilot licensing, within the 6-month period that I planned to. One thing that we all international students look forward in any flight school is what's the availability of schedules, how many flights can I do in a week or in a month, and how often do I get up in the air. Based on that, in my experience, I would say we have the best scheduling availability here, and pretty much I flew every single day.
What's the best thing or advantage training in Long Beach, given the busy airspace?
The best thing about training in Long Beach Airport is that it has 3 active runways, which enables us to take off and perform our landings and practice the landings really quickly without a long delay. And another good thing is that it's a controlled airport with a class Delta airspace. It's more exposure as well, since we are under the Bravo shelf of LAX. We get to fly with other various traffic and maneuver ourselves within the traffic, which gives us more knowledge about how to fly the aircraft efficiently and manage the aircraft well. One more thing to add to that is the practice area that we practice our maneuvers in is over the ocean, over the Pacific Ocean, which is a huge practice area. We don't have to worry about other airplanes getting too close. We don't have to worry about the congestion there. Overall, it's a really good airspace to learn. It's a really good airport to fly out of because there's not much traffic, and the runways are really close to the ramp from Airman, so it's really fast from start of engine and getting back to the air.
How long did you take to finish your commercial license?
Well, if you ask me how long it took for me for getting the commercial pilot's license, it took exactly 5 months and 20 days. Under 6 months, I would say. It's a really good time for anybody to get their licenses. It was very efficient and very quick.
How can other students get their license efficiently and quickly?
Well, getting the license efficiently and quickly requires a lot of hard work, dedication, and energy put into it. It doesn't come easy, but also it's worth it, I would say, because getting a commercial license is the goal that we are all headed towards. And if we want to make a career in aviation, I think we all have to be dedicated, and we all have to stick to the instructor's words. We all have to follow the training schedules. We all have to, put the input in. Without the input, I don't think there'd be any output. So if we work efficiently and smart and quickly, we would be able to get the licenses quickly.
What's the students to instructors and students to airplanes ratio at Airman?
We do have a generous amount of instructors and airplanes to train the students, and they put in their efforts every single day. They don't really take much off. So I think the airplanes and the instructors are good enough, and there's good number of instructors to get us through the commercial license.
All right, Surya, so we were talking about how the weather sometimes gets in the way, right? And obviously it is one of those things we just have no control over. So in those days, you also did your training really quickly, right? I mean, you had some bad weathers. So how did you supplement your training when the weather was bad?
That's a great question, Bosco, because whenever the weather was bad or whenever I felt like maybe today is not a great time to fly, I just hop in the sim, I practice my procedures, maneuvers, even the checklist usage. That goes a long way in getting the training faster, because we might think like it's just a small thing or it's just a simulator, I wouldn't feel the same way or something like that, but again the procedures are the same. If I have to put the flaps down, I have to do the same thing in the plane as well. So what I mainly did was I practiced my procedures, my checklist usage, and generally overall how to handle the plane, how to look at the avionics and all that.
Okay, so pretty good. I mean, you used you took advantage of the simulator. So one of the things I like to tell people that inquires about Airman is the airspace. LAX airspace. You guys know this is the busiest airspace in the world. So how did that supplement your training, and how were you able to do your training so quick?
Yeah, so that's another good question, because when it comes to airspaces, learning about the places that we are going to fly to and the training that we are into. Another good example of where the simulator comes in, because we don't really have to fly the airplanes to learn the airspaces and the locations. We can just, as you guys can see, we can just fly the simulator and get an idea of what the general terrain looks like, what the airports look like, how the runways are and all that. So it was a really good experience with the simulator, and as we can see, it's a full motion simulator. I got a really good experience with it.
All right, Surya, so now we're going to talk about the benefits of training in this airspace, right? I think after your training, you realized how busy this airspace is, right? Did you find it useful during your training, or like after you finish your training, like moving into your career, that you trained in such a busy airspace? And did it help you in any way getting your license done quicker?
Oh, absolutely. That's a wonderful question, Bosco, because right when I started my training here in Long Beach, it's basically under the LA Bravo airspace, and the whole area is really congested, and it's a lot of catching up. Initially it was intimidating a little bit, but I kept on going with it, kept on learning every single day, made small mistakes here and there whenever my trainer was with me, not alone, and nothing big. So far I'm good, which was a really challenging thing at first, but then once I got along, once I started learning about it, it kept me going on. That it was interesting. There was something new happening every day. There was some new experience every other flight. So being busy in the airplane, some people might think it's too much workload, but I think it makes us all better pilots in a way, because we have to anyway end up in the busy airspace once we get to the main career, which is working for any airline. Based on that, I would say I learned a lot in this airspace, and even when I get back home, I think it's safe to say that I would not feel so uncomfortable flying in any other airspace.
So now we do have new students coming every now and then, right? And as you said previously, the time, the length of your training really depends on you as a person, right? I've seen students as an instructor. I've seen a lot of students finish in the minimum amount of time. I've seen students exceed their times, right? So what advice do you have for the people that are coming in next?
Yeah, definitely one thing would be like focus on one thing, put your mind to one thing. If saving time and going back home, getting your license is the one thing that you want to do, focus on that. If living your life in Long Beach, living the LA life, having fun, going through your days like, I don't want to fly every day. I just want to fly maybe 3 days a week, and then I want to enjoy the social life that I get in the United States, because I'm not going to get it again. If that's your focus, then it's up to you. But it can't be both, I would say, because either one of those has to go. It's always just either training or you work or you have fun, party and all that. It cannot be both anytime. That's what I feel.
All right, and then you spoke a little bit about life in Long Beach, right? If you want to come to the U.S., you just want to party. So I'm sure it's not all work, right? I mean, I'm sure you had your fun every now and then, right? And I'm a very relaxed instructor. I like to take my students out to places too. So there were some fun memories, right? Tell them about the overall life in Long Beach. How was it?
Yeah, I as you know, mostly because I was not obviously like 24/7 into training. I try to balance my day and balance my week as I go.
Which is very crucial, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is correct. And through the months that I've been here, I've mostly kept my social life to the weekends, or I've kept it for the non-crucial part of training, where I'm just time building or where I'm just in the simulator. I don't have much to do today. Okay, let me just go have some fun. That's what I've been doing. When it comes to the social life in Long Beach, or let it be even LA. LA is not so far from Long Beach. It's like maybe like an hour drive, less than that, mostly less than that. So there are a lot of attractions that people can visit, and there are lots of party places that people who want to be partying around can go to. And there's also the whole Pacific Ocean for us. We can hit the beach. There are lots of beaches along the coast, and it's pretty much a all-around place for anybody who would love fun. It's not just focused on people who want to party. It's not just focused on people who want to hike or anything specific. Pretty much anybody would have fun here.
Yep, so the main focus I want to talk about is the focus, right? As long as you're disciplined, you can split your time. So I know students that goes to the beach to study, right? They're having fun and they're getting some knowledge. So yeah, as long as you split your time and your discipline properly, I'm sure you would have a good time in Long Beach.
Absolutely.
All right, so funny thing is, one of the biggest questions that we have, and it's totally understandable too, considering that you came from a different side of the world, right? You, along with all the other students. So was it easy for you to adjust to the U.S. after coming from India?
Oh, absolutely, because as we all know it, you are Indian and you happen to be my instructor. So it was really easy to gel with you and go through the training, that being first. And secondly, Southern California here and in Long Beach, there's a lot of Indian community, and there's a lot of things going on. Every now and then we go to parks, we meet up in birthday parties in parks, and we do a lot of fun stuff with the people here. And it's really easy to get along, because even the restaurants here, if you look at them, there are a lot of Indian restaurants and a lot of options for us to explore and not feel like we're not home. Okay, Bosco, it has been a really good time, but since I've been asked a lot of questions by you, I would like to ask a question back to you. Yeah, it's really simple, because I also think as much as it's simple, it's also important for people to know before they come here. What would you say the importance of the syllabus that we follow here at Airman?
Okay, so training under Part 61, we technically don't need a syllabus. Now, the reason we use a syllabus, right, it's to keep track of your training. Now, as a lead instructor, I have many students under me, right, and their instructors have many students under them as well, right. So I think it's very important for us and for you to keep track of your training, right, individually. Instead of saying something brief like, oh, he's working on landings. Well, what does he know? What does he does not know, right? So that's why we use a syllabus. So the syllabus that we use, it's very laid out. It tells me exactly what I have to cover for, let's say, a stage check, right? It tells me exactly what I have to cover. I just take whatever I covered, I sign it, you sign it, we keep the copy. And if you were to lose your logbook, which has happened before, that's your logbook right there.
I agree with you 100%.
That is your logbook right there. You know what I mean? So it's an insurance for you and it's insurance for us. And then it also keeps track, make sure we don't miss anything, because it's very easy to miss things. That's
I
why.
think it's safe to say that it puts a structure to the whole training.
Oh, of course, absolutely, 100%. Yep.
All right.